Bill Burr's name has been in the news a lot lately, given his brazen remarks about the assassination of the United Healthcare CEO back in December, his recent opinions on the Los Angeles fires, and most recently, a rumor about him and Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins rock band being long-lost half-brothers has come back to the surface after Billy Corgan ambushed Bill's appearance on the Howie Mandel Does Stuff podcast. With Bill Burr being only about a month and a half away from releasing a new stand-up comedy special on Hulu, you would think all publicity would be good publicity for Billy Red Balls Burr, but I think the Billy Corgan rumor might have annoyed him just a little bit. Out of all the things Bill has done lately, the Billy Corgan interview caught my attention the most, so we will dive into that first, and then also some of the other things that have happened with Bill Burr recently. To start off with, the elephant in the room is Bill's recent podcast appearance on Howie Mandel's show, where Howie brings in Billy Corgan, and it makes for an incredibly awkward and tense introduction. The two had never met, so it was set up from the start to be a train wreck. Before I show you the clip, let's lay out the rumors surrounding Bill Burr and Billy Corgan possibly being half-brothers. So apparently Billy Corgan had a father that was very promiscuous as a musician performing on the road and had multiple baby mamas and multiple children, one of which the mother kept and raised, who happened to be named Bill. Then Billy Corgan tells a story about how he saw a picture of Bill Burr and was flabbergasted by the striking resemblance that Bill had with his own father. This may sound like a goofy rumor, but the plot thickens when the two met in person for the first time on this clip. If you haven't seen it, at first it's pretty uncomfortable to watch, but it does get a little better.
And look who's here.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Sit down.
You're an asshole.
Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole?
Yeah,
I thought this would be great to bring a family together.
He didn't tell you. He told me you were totally cool with me coming.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
I thought it would be
so
a
then,
good
like,
surprise.
can this be like edited out, or no?
I can go. I mean, you told me Bill was.
All right, fuck it. No, I'll do it. Like, did you ever think the fact that I never told that story, that, you know, maybe you shouldn't? Did you ever, you know how many fucking, like, emails and crap that I got? Like, I sort of, like, went away from that.
I just thought.
All right, well, whatever. You know, it's not that I don't like him. It reminds me of all of that shit. So, you know, it's like,
it just seems more of the same from what I've been hearing.
All right, whatever. I mean, I like your music.
Appreciate that.
Okay, great.
Initially, you can see Bill being a little hostile towards Billy Corgan and mentioning the fact that he never told that story, and unless this is a really, really good bit and everyone is 100% in on it, it kind of sounds like Bill is being almost serious here. Then again, it's really hard to tell because we're watching a podcast and we're not there in the moment. The seriousness makes me really think that they could be half-brothers and that this might be more than just a rumor circulating on the internet. That being said though, nobody knows for sure and I still don't know where I stand on the rumor. I do feel bad for Bill Burr and Billy Corgan here because Bill thought this was going to be just a podcast where he got to promote his upcoming special that will be dropping on March 14th exclusively on Hulu, while Billy Corgan was led to believe that this was going to be met with a warmer reception and that Bill Burr was completely cool with this and would not make fun of him for doing it. It turns out though, Howie Mandel is a bit of a troll. More on that later though. However, it seemed like after the initial rockiness of bringing Billy Corgan on the podcast, they actually started to get along and were on the same page that Howie blindsiding both of them with this uncomfortable situation was pretty ass. Bill also had some hilarious throwaway lines about the situation that prove yet again Bill is still naturally one of the funniest people on the planet today.
Okay, can I give you the setup on all this because it's his fault?
You can do whatever you want because you kind of already did that.
Okay, I'm trying to be respectful.
Now you are.
Okay, no wait. He told me you were cool with me.
You're a Cubs fan? That fucking tracks.
Theo Epstein.
Fucking Wrigleyville. Bunch of cunts. Southside's where it's at. What's up? Because that's the thing. He's bringing in here not because he's trying to heal the bullshit that we went through growing up. He's getting here just for the fucking ratings. I mean, the guy literally accepted a fucking award in the middle of a podcast. I'm supposed to be promoting my special, and he's over here like...
You can do it. March 14th on Hulu.
Like, that's going to help now?
I still love you, though. Even though you did
But
this.
it's not about
Okay,
me.
so now what was supposed to happen? Are we going to go play catch? We're both in our 50s.
My arm is still good. I gotta go. I gotta say.
When I talk about Bill Burr, I always get comments about how he's a sellout and how he's not even funny anymore, and maybe you could convince me of the first part if you really tried, but I will always laugh at Bill Burr and his ability to shoot from the hip and roast people on the spot. When I think of a ball-busting comedian nowadays, there is still nobody better than Bill Burr, even if you disagree with his opinions on some things. Furthermore, I guess people had speculated that Bill Burr and Billy Corgan were related in the past with tweets and celebrity look-alike articles and stuff, but the point where this rumor initially started picking up steam was a few months ago when Billy Corgan shared a story on Howie Mandel's podcast where his mom told him this about Bill Burr.
My stepmother said to me, "Do you know who Bill Burr is?" Now, at that point, I'd never heard of Bill Burr. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was a comedian or he could have been the guy down the street.
Right.
And she said, well, he's this comedian, da-da-da. And I think I even somehow called up a picture on a phone. And I kind of noticed right away, like, gee, he really looks like my father. Bill Burr looks more like my father than Bill Burr looks like me, or I look like Bill Burr. So I said to my mother, like, well, why are you asking me this? You know, I thought maybe the first thing she was just going to say, oh, he just thought you noticed the resemblance. She goes, I think it might be one of your father's illegitimate children. Bill Burr might be one of the children that your father sired in his days on being a traveling musician. This is a true story. I'm not making up. There's no joke in this. This is a true story. I've never told this anywhere, honestly.
Man, the world is a vampire. No, I'm just kidding. But this is really interesting to find out because Bill Burr has been very private about his upbringing and some of the details about his brothers, like the time he was on the H3H3 podcast and he refused to answer how many brothers he had.
I was too little. Yeah, no, my dad actually at work did. At work, that's when I learned, like, oh my God, yeah, he really likes us. And he also had a zillion kids, so yeah.
Really? How many siblings do you have?
I don't know, dude. The internet's too fucking weird to give out all that information.
Oh, you don't even want to say how many because you're afraid that it will somehow
by all means,
compromise
keep
your
talking
privacy.
about it. Is there any way you can cut this out? I'm honest, dude. Like,
seriously?
Yeah, no, dude. There's fucking lunatics out there.
Okay.
Whoa.
Off the air, I'll tell you.
All right.
Jeez.
I thought this was a little odd because he has said in his act before that his dad had 5 kids, which meant that Bill has 4 siblings. I guess the thought of saying I have 4 brothers and possibly a half-brother might have been a bit uncomfortable for him at the time, because otherwise this question did seem rather innocuous, but I could just be reading into things a little too deeply here. I know Bill has been private about his childhood for the most part, and you can't always trust what you hear in a comedian's act because of hyperboles and all that jazz, but I actually found this footage of Bill Burr from a long time ago where he's sharing a really rough story from his childhood and how much it bothered him, and none of it seems like a joke. It all just seems like he's sharing a genuinely sad story from his upbringing.
I never brought anybody home to meet my parents. I was like 30 years old. Never brought anybody home. I didn't ever like meeting people in general. I started thinking about it, like, not only had I never brought anybody home, a girl home, and I was 30 years old, I'd never brought anybody home. Even like back in like first grade, like second grade, I had friends and shit. I just never brought them home. My dad was like a complete psychopath, Like his nickname in my house was called The Thing. Because that's what he was. He was his fucking thing. That like if he wasn't around, we'd say, dude, is The Thing home? If he wasn't home, you could chill. He was just like never in a good mood. So that's when it really hit me that, man, my family's really screwed up. And I started going to other kids' houses, and their parents seemed to get along, and they were like cool. And so the whole time I'm driving back, my girlfriend coming up, all this stuff is like coming back, and I'm thinking, and I really get like all like I'm a 6-year-old kid again, like getting all nervous, like how my dad is gonna like act, because it's like embarrassing.
So it seems like even though Bill Burr is protective of a lot of the details from his childhood, this clip sheds a little bit of light on why Bill holds these details closer to his chest. What he shares in this clip is likely the tip of the iceberg, and he probably revisits these rougher experiences in his mind pretty often. Bill Burr also went on the Rich Eisen show, and he talked about the Howie Mandel thing when he was asked about it, and roasted Howie in a way that Howie himself would probably find absolutely fucking hilarious.
People want to know, were you really pissed?
Huh? But listen, I don't talk about
Your stuff?
Yeah, I don't. And so Howie did what he did.
Yeah.
Because he is a Hollywood whore. And he doesn't care what happens that he just didn't.
I love this clip. Howie is a big goofball and probably thought the whole thing was hilarious, and to be honest, it was. Anyway, that was the rumor floating around with Bill Burr and Billy Corgan being half-brothers, and I'd say I'm leaning 60% towards this not being true and 40% towards it being true. But obviously, we may never 100% know for sure. I think ultimately, I'm just really happy that a musician I like and a comedian I like met and seem to be on good terms. Maybe we'll see something in the future where Billy Corgan sings 1979 with Billy Redhead Burr playing the drums. Now that would be pretty fucking awesome to see. Bill was also in the news lately for his rant about the LA fires that he had when he went on Jimmy Kimmel Live, which also ended with Bill doubling down and saying "Free Luigi Mangione." If you haven't heard it, I'll bring you up to speed really quick.
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet, you know?
Yeah, right. I know. It's right.
Oh, my God. All of these fire experts. Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean? And then just, I don't know, because there was 100-knot winds? You want to do that? You want to do that at night, you lunatic?
How are you?
This was definitely mismanaged.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA, sitting there in his underwear. You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged. And they're talking about looting, but CNN and Fox News are not going to bring up the insurance companies that are just going to keep everybody's premiums and still give themselves a bonus. Yeah. Yes. Free Luigi!
I thought the bit about the LA fires was pretty funny, and you can definitely tell that Bill is fleshing out and feeling around this bit. While I do think that the bit was funny, I do also understand and agree with the point that the LA fires were mismanaged and handled incorrectly to some degree. I would say there's good points to be made about that, but we don't need to get into it because honestly, who fucking cares? Then Bill talks about insurance companies, and this is where the Luigi part comes in. What's interesting is that Bill Burr definitely shocked Jimmy Kimmel a lot here, and the interview went off the rails just a little bit. The biggest telltale sign of this was the fact that there's a hard cut in the broadcast after Bill says he never left Luigi, and it immediately goes back to Jimmy asking Bill more about the fires, which makes it very obvious that Jimmy cut this part out.
I never left Luigi.
How is Bill?
Now, of course, I don't think Luigi should be freed because he murdered someone, but I can't pretend I don't understand some of the frustration he had towards United Healthcare. But is murdering someone the proper way to handle this situation? Definitely not. And another quick side note, we got to see that Bill Burr is actually doing a show with Shane Gillis, and all the money Shane and Bill make from the show is going towards the people who were hurt and affected by the LA fires, and I think this is great because I'm a fan of Shane, I'm a fan of Bill, and I wish I could see this show happening, but just a fun thing that's happening on the side. Anyway, this podcast and late night run Bill Burr has been doing has all been to promote his new upcoming special that's being released in March called Drop Dead Years. This run has me really hoping that Bill goes back on the Joe Rogan Experience because I would love to see Bill make fun of Joe for a bit with all the political shit that has happened over the last 6 months. Even if you tend to agree more with Boomer Joe than you do with Boomer Bill, you have to admit that the clips of Bill making fun of Joe, I think a lot of podcasts nowadays are bland, milquetoast garbage, so that's why I don't really tune into a lot of podcasts anymore. But all in all, I'm a fan of Bill Burr, even as he has changed throughout his career, and I'm really looking forward to seeing his next special coming out in March. But what do you guys think? Do you think Bill Burr and Billy Corgan are actually half brothers, or do you think it's just a silly rumor? Are you looking forward to seeing Bill Burr's next special, or do you think you're going to skip this one? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you made it this far and you want to continue to support me, please check out my second channel, Nate Roscoe RLP, where I talk about real world issues in a fun and goofy way. I'd really appreciate it if you could click the link below and subscribe to my other channel. If not, it's all good. I don't really care that much. But thanks again, guys, for all the likes and for subscribing to the channel and supporting me. That's all I got for you guys today. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.